7.8, 5.1, 3.8, 3.0. That's the number of years between each next 100,000. Watch this. Most people see their first 100K as 10% of the way to a million. Math says 33%, not 10. The difference isn't in dollars, the difference is in time, and that's exactly why most people quit one step before compound kicks in. Finance YouTube lies to you, not on purpose. They just plug 17% annual returns into a calculator and promise $1 million in 6 years. There's no actuarial data for that. Today, our honest math. Frank Fourth Wall. Subscribe. I'm Frank. 4 stops, 100,000, 250,000, 500,000, 1 million. Math at each one. I'm dropping these daily right now. Subscribe so tomorrow's stop finds you. Stop 100,000 invested where you actually stand in reality. Tuesday night, Dave runs Sunday night math at the kitchen calculator. Account balance, 100,000 and change. 8 years of discipline. 8 years of no to the new car and bigger apartment. What does that mean in the context of America 2026? Median net worth Americans under 35, $39,000. Federal Reserve SCF 2022, 27% above median. That's not average anymore, that's already top 30% of your age cohort. And that's the first 100 before compound even starts working. Math of the first compound paycheck. Simple, 100,000 multiplied by 8% annual return, $8,000 a year. $667 a month. That's not life-changing money. That's math-changing money. The first month your dollars work harder than you do, not by much. Just starting, $8,000 a year. That's more than the median American can scrape for emergencies. Bank rate 2024, 56% can't cover a $1,000 surprise.
Frank Fourth Wall.
Verification. I ran these timelines through the future value formula 3 times. Damodaran S&P 500 historical dataset for 7% real return. Math validated locally. All links in the description. 7% real return. That's inflation-adjusted historical S&P 500 over 100 years. Damodaran, New York University. Not a prediction, not my number. 100 years of market data. A lot of finance YouTubers use 10% nominal instead of 7 real. That's not a lie, it's just a different number. After inflation, your actual purchasing power grows at 7. Remember that number? At 7% real return, the first 100 gave you 8,000 a year passive. The second 100, 16,000. The third, 24. Math accelerates linearly with the balance. And here's why 100,000 isn't 10% of the way to a million, because each next 100,000 comes faster than the previous one. Time is the variable, not money. This is the Charlie Munger framework, the first 100. Brutal. After that, the compound engine joins the fight, and the compound engine doesn't get tired. Stop 2, 250,000 invested, where passive income starts being felt in your budget for the first time. At 250,000 at 8% annual, $20,000 in passive income a year, $1,667 a month. $20,000 a year, that's the median rent in a huge chunk of American cities. Kentucky, Ohio, parts of Texas, Iowa. That's the first moment your money covers one of the 2 biggest line items in your budget. Calvin lives in Kansas City. Rent $1,500 a month. Calvin is 7 years in, portfolio $250,000. His passive income covers his rent. Calvin is officially not working for his rent anymore. Frank at the whiteboard, 2 lines drawn. First, your paycheck minus expenses. Second, your portfolio growing on its own. At 250, these lines cross for the first time. 100% of rent generated by capital, not labor. Math timeline between 100 and 250, 10 to 12 years at 20,000 a year plus 7%. Not fast, but every year here is compounding on a larger base. But here's what matters. To reach this point, you have to grind through 8 years of the first 100 plus another 10 to 12, total 18 to 20 years, every day of discipline. Most people, the moment they hit 100, upgrade the car, the apartment, the lifestyle. Lifestyle inflation resets the timer. They never reach 250. The compound engine shuts off. Frank Fourth Wall comment, which stop are you on right now? 20K, 50, 100, 200, drop it in the comments. I read everyone. Tomorrow's video grabs the most upvoted milestone. 250,000 isn't some capital R rule. It's just clean math derivation. 20K a year passive at 8%. One YouTuber out there calls it the 250K rule, the math our own derived. Stop 3, 500,000 invested, the crossover point, the place where portfolio growth permanently overtakes your annual contributions. Concept from a 1992 book, Your Money or Your Life by the FIRE movement founders. Before the crossover point, you are the engine. After, you're the driver. Math drives. At 500,000 at 7% real, 35,000 a year. 35,000 beats your annual contribution of 20,000. Math overtake confirmed. That's the moment, not magic, not secret, just arithmetic. If you contribute 20K and earn 7%, break-even happens somewhere between 300 and 500,000 net worth. A universal number across different savers. 20K saved, crossover between 300 and 540K saved, crossover between 5 and 700, 10K saved, crossover between 150 and 250. What changes after crossover? Not the passive income amount that grows steadily with the balance. Identity changes. You stop thinking like an employee. You start thinking like an owner. Frank in the office, sitting calmly at the desk, not rushing, not panicking. He knows his portfolio is pulling more weight than his paycheck. His relationship to money is asset manager, not worker. That's the Munger rational patience framework, not brilliance, not stock picking. The ability to sit on your hands while hyperactive people try to outtrade each other into worse returns. Math timeline between 250 and 500,000, 6 to 8 years at 20,000 annual plus 7%, faster than the previous stage. Compound joins the engine. Cumulative from 0, year 26, until crossover. Most people think this is forever. Actually, it's less than a typical mortgage. 26 years of discipline, crossover. Here's the choice. Universe A, Dave at 250,000 upgrades the house. The car pushes his margin back into fixed expenses. Crossover pushed out by years. Universe B, Dave at 250,000 old house, old car, still 20,000 a year saved. Crossover happens 4 years later. Compound engine at full speed. Frank fourth wall, subscribe. Quick pause. Which universe are you in right now, A or B? Drop it below. Most upvoted milestone becomes tomorrow's video. Daily right now, subscribe, and tomorrow's math finds you when you wake up. After crossover, compound timeline compresses further. 500,000 to 750. 4 years. 750 to 1,000,000, 3 years. Total to 1 million, about 12 to 16 years, starting from 100,000. 12 to 16 years, not 6. 6 requires 17% annual real return. There's no actuarial data supporting that. Or 230,000 gross income. Most viewers neither. Stop 4. $1 million invested, what it actually means and why it isn't the finish line. Frank at the desk, calculator out, $1 million, 4% safe withdrawal rule, 40,000 a year, 3,333 a month. The 4% rule comes from the 1998 Trinity Study. Texas A&M University researchers pulled S&P historical returns 1926 to 1995. Conclusion: 4% withdrawal rate has 95% historical success rate over a 30-year retirement. The original 4% rule, 1994, Journal of Financial Planning, same data set, same conclusion, the bedrock of every retirement plan for the next 30 years. 40,000 a year. That's $167 a month, less than median American rent of $3,500. 1 million alone doesn't cover a 5K a month lifestyle. Math doesn't lie. The math your YouTube doesn't show you is that 1 million is a milestone, not the finish line. To cover a 5K a month lifestyle, you need 1.5 million on the 4% rule, 500,000 more of compound work. 1 million lasts 17 years if you just accumulate without returns, sitting in cash without investments. 100,000 a year for 17 and it's gone. With the 4% rule, forever, but at the 40K a year level, choice, lifestyle compromise, or more math work. Reframe moment. 1 million doesn't equal finish. 1 million equals freedom to choose. You cannot work for a 40K lifestyle. You can work for love, not fear. You can start a business without the safety net job. This is the bridge to the next video in this series. Live off 500,000 in the bank and do nothing else. Lean fire alternative. 20,000 a year lifestyle on 500,000 math also works. Different choice. 100,000, 250, 500, 1 million. That's the map of compound math. Each stop a real inflection point. Each 12 to 16 years cumulatively. And now, The main myths social media sells you about this road, and why each one breaks under math. Block 5, counter-arguments, 5 myths that keep you stuck. Myth 1, 100K to 1 million in 6 years easy. This is where other channels lie to you. Math requires 17% annual real return, S&P 500 over 100 years average 7 real, or 230K gross income, median bill neither. They never show their work, we show ours. Frank at the chart, same investor, same income. 2 scenarios, one tried to copy the YouTube 6-year promise, broke by year 4, the other took the honest 12 to 16-year math, made it. Boring middle survived. Myth 2, frugality will make you a millionaire, debunked. Frugality alone accelerates the timeline by about a third. Income increase does the same in a single year. 80K to 120K salary equals 40K extra annually. That's the same as a 40% return on 100,000 every year. Myth 3. Discipline will do the work. Debunked. Willpower is a finite resource. Harvard 1997. Present bias documented. Automation beats discipline every time. Auto-transfer the day the paycheck hits. Saving becomes default, not decision. Myth 4. 1 million is the finish. Debunked. 1 million times 4% equals 40K a year. Lifestyle of 5K a month equals 60K a year, a 20K gap. Finish for 5K a month is 1.5 million. Finish for 4K a month is 1.2 million. Finish is defined by you, not by social media. Myth 5. Hot stocks beat the market. Debunked. JP Morgan Guide to the Markets. Miss the best 10 days in 20 years and your return drops in half. Most of those best days happen during corrections. Trying to time the market equals the most expensive form of impatience. High-interest debt, financial suicide. A credit card at 18% annual. The market at 10%. Carrying 10K on a credit card while investing at the same time. Guaranteed minus 8% return every year. Pay it off above 7%. First, the one habit that compresses the timeline more than any framework. Annual contribution increase. Every year you bump your contribution by 10%. 20K year 1, 22 year 2, year 10, 52K annually. End balance after 20 years, 400,000 instead of 240. Same investor, same return. One annual adjustment, 160,000 of extra wealth from one mental switch. 2026 IRS contribution limits, your starting point, 24,500 into the 401k base, plus 8,000 catch-up if you're 50 and over, plus 11,250 super catch-up if you're 60 to 63. Secure 2.0 Act provisions, all cited in the description. If you're 60 to 63, your 401k cap is 35,750 in a single year, plus Roth IRA 7,500, plus HSA 4,300, 47,500 annually into tax-advantaged accounts. That compresses any timeline. If you're under 50, your 401k cap is 24,500 plus 7,500 Roth plus 4,300 HSA equals 36,300 annually. All growth tax-free or tax-deferred. IRS shielded compound.
Frank Fourth Wall. Companion. If the first 100 is breaking you right now, there's an earlier video where I broke down why that first 100 is brutally hard by design. Same compound. Earlier point. Link in the description below.
Block 6. The mechanism. Why 100K equals 1/3 to 1 million math works on smart people? 2 main academic anchors behind compound milestone psychology. The 1997 hyperbolic discounting study plus the 2013 scarcity research. Together, they explain 90% of why people quit the boring middle. Hyperbolic discounting. Your brain systematically devalues future rewards. 100,000 in 10 years feels less real than 5,000 today. That's not a character flaw, it's cognitive architecture. Documented in the Quarterly Journal of Economics, 1997. Scarcity bandwidth tax. Financial stress eats cognitive resources. Brain cannot allocate to a 20-year compound when this month's rent is the emergency. Documented in a 2013 Princeton-Harvard book. Together, that explains why 90% of people quit at the 50K to 100K mark. Not because they're weak, because the system engineered their boring middle to break before compound activates. That's the Munger rational patience framework. Not brilliance, not luck. The ability to survive cognitive traps documented in 2 Nobel-adjacent papers. Everyone who passed the first 100K passed the filter. Federal Reserve SCF 2022 median net worth Americans 35 to 44, 135,000, 45 to 54, 246,000, 55 to 64, 410,000. If you hit 100K young, you're ahead of your age cohort median. If at 40 you're below, math still works either way. National Study of Millionaires. Approximately 1/3 of today's US millionaires reached status in the last 8 years, through compound plus home equity plus the S&P 500 bull market. Acceleration era proof. Frank Fourth Wall. Subscribe if this helped. Like it. Comment your current milestone. Subscribe daily right now. Tomorrow's video runs the next stop, from crossover to lean fire. 3 numbers to take home, the honest math. Number 1, velocity gap. 7.8, 5.1, 3.8, 3.0 years for each next 100. Number 2, honest 100K to 1 million equals 12 to 16 years at 20K a year plus 7%. Number 3, 1 million doesn't equal finish. 40K a year Trinity safe. You need 1.5 million for a 5K a month life. Cap your lifestyle at each stop. Pull the 3 levers from the earlier video: offense, defense, efficiency. Automate the discipline. 100 to 1 million. That's not magic, that's math. Math doesn't negotiate. Don't try.